And hello, welcome everyone to Anfield Road TV. Kev, how are we, lad?
Good lad yourself. How are you keeping?
All good. We're absolutely flying this season. Transfer market, Frimpong Friday, lad. Not too bad at all,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Love it. Love every second of it. Yeah. You know, I said it, Jack, when I said it was the last month or two, I kept saying, lads, I think we have a big summer coming up. And everybody was like, no, FSG, you're not going to spend the money. This person's not going to spend the money. Nothing's going to happen. And I said, nah, I have an awful feeling. I said, Slat, in the second season is fairly ruthless. And I said, expect some signings. Did I think they were going to be as big as what we're getting? No. I thought it would just be like a lot of signings and a lot of outs and ins. But yeah, super happy so far with the way the window is starting to take shape for us. Definitely.
Yeah, obviously, chat, if you are new, if you are watching on the repeat, make sure you drop a like on the video as well. Yeah, chilled, relaxed stream anyway. Speaking about, obviously, Kev's got a couple of potential formations that he wants to go through as well. It'd be interesting to get his thoughts as well. I'll have a little to and fro anyway, because there was quite some interesting formations to say the least as well. But Reds, let us know your thoughts on Frimpong, a big signing for Liverpool. Obviously today we had the news of Trent going to Spain, already touched down in Madrid. Didn't take him too long anyway, but as we know, that deal's been in the pipelines for a very long time. But we'll speak about that. But obviously £10 million, Kev, you look at that, and we know football sometimes not how it works out. But if you combine the 10 million we received off Trent, the fact that Trent would have potentially in 30 days' time would have been leaving on a free. Somehow Richard Hughes has got £10 million out of that deal. How's he managed that?
Look, Real Madrid really wanted to get Trent in. I mean, the lads have done well. I mean, there was talk of 850,000 and then there was like 1 point something million or something, and then ended up being 10 million. And I think that's unbelievably good business from Edwards and Hughes, to be honest with you. And the fact, you know, that's pretty much Wirtz's first salary per annum. So, you know, that's a justified sale right there, you know. But look, we got something for Trent at the end of the day, and that's what, and they're paying his wages up until July 1st.
Yeah, for that period, which is mad, isn't it?
Yeah. So whatever he was on, maybe he was on, what was he on, 240?
I think it comes out as in and around $1 million, so it's an extra $1 million on top of obviously
something like that. Yeah,
you'll be saving.
So so let's round up €12 million. I mean, you're taking away, you know, that you're making back, really, you know, when you wouldn't have had it. So yeah, look, it's good business all around. That's Wirtz wages for the first year, if you think of it that way, you know. So
it's not too bad, mate. Yeah, buzzing, chat. Anyone tuning in, it's a very, very good business, and I think just goes to show, like all of us know, like the how well the infrastructure at Liverpool is it's the best footballing operation from a technical side. Obviously, the data lads and even every facility really, sport nutritionists, sports science, data department, scouting, absolutely second to none really as well. But big up there, Lee. How are we, buds? Chat, keep on getting your comments in anyway. Do drop a like on the video. I've seen this week YouTube have got some new feature. Obviously, if you're a regular viewer, not just on my channel, but on YouTube, you've got a tier, like a thing someone's like to do with to get more people chatting on people's channels as well. So you'll see like a number to your name or something now on YouTube, which is interesting. Slowly catching up. There's a lot more features that you can certainly improve anyway. Let's get to Lee's comment first. How are we, bud? Reckon it's a great deal for us. Something is better than nothing at all. 10 million exactly. Yeah, in and around that ballpark, Lee, anyway, as Kev's alluded to there, and the wages really. I don't know what the prize money is in the Club World Cup or the FIFA, whatever this tournament is. How are Liverpool not in it? We don't know. We'll be in it next, or whenever the next incorporation of it is, post this year as well. But yeah, chat, let us know your thoughts. It's absolutely staggering. Bits of work really from Richard Hughes and the technical lads as well. Happy days there. So yeah, 10 million in the door. Happy days. Good to hear, Lee. Good to hear. Oh yeah, forgot to put that on the agenda, Lee. we've got a spy in the midst. That's good, isn't it? He'll be spying on Man City and all that. Yeah, Kev, thoughts on that?
To be honest, I kind of find Pep Lijnders
Annoying.
this fella like, yeah, but a little bit thick. Yeah. I think he's a small bit stupid.
Well,
I heard one of the other lads on the chat saying that as well recently, and I'm just saying I really think he is. You don't go to, you're working under Jurgen Klopp, and you had a great rapport with lads and stuff like that. But maybe that's what he is. He's just a lad's lad that gets a lot, But he makes a lot of stupid decisions, doesn't he?
Might release a second book anyway. You never know. I just find that mad. But I suppose you'll go where whoever's going to pay you anyway, so fair enough to Pep. I think, if anyone's not seen what City have done over the last couple of months, I don't think Pep Guardiola will be in the City job any long time soon. Anyway, I think he had made that contract extension, didn't he? Last season, or last couple of months anyway. But yeah, Pep Lijnders bringing him in. City have got quite a fair. You've done what Liverpool done with Brendan Rodgers, got rid of all of his backroom staff, and I think the writing's on the wall, really, Jay. In all honesty, when you're getting rid of all the backroom, like the staff, City might be analysing it, and Pep Guardiola and be like, yeah, sound. We need a freshening up, a bit similar like Liverpool, but I think it'll be same old from City this season. They can go out and buy, obviously, Lijnders from AC Milan, the Dutch defensive midfielder in general. He's quite good at going forward and defensively as well. But I think it'll just be the same case of him getting annoyed, him getting frustrated. Liverpool, the new dogs in town. I'm not going anywhere soon anyway, so how do you see Lijnders doing, Kev? And chat, let us know. Obviously, coming in, as you said, you're not the biggest fan of him, really, but I just find that quite staggering, really, because I analyse his time at Liverpool. The one thing about Jurgen Klopp is I felt we could have done more from an assistant, or from a tactical sense. And obviously, you've got to look at the technical team as well, with Jurgen Klopp as well. I think Lijnders could have done more. My personal opinion, you're only as good as your.
He also said that he would never work under another coach again. That once he went into management, that was it. He wouldn't work under another coach, and that was literally a year ago.
So.
Not even. So less than a year ago, if you want to think about that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't understand, man. I just think
being an assistant, he's not good enough for being a manager, really, is he?
Yeah.
He's failed in Holland. He's failed at Salzburg this season. He took over a Salzburg team that is renowned to being one of the best sides in Austrian football, and the fact that it's not worked out, it says a lot when you've got one of the best teams in Austria in the league and division, and you massively underperformed them.
But it says one thing that when he's there as a manager and he brings over players like Bajcetic, and then they want to leave in less than a few months, and then they go off and have a great season elsewhere for the next half of this season. So that just tells you a lot of what's going on. I just don't. As I said, I think he's a lad. I think there's a slight bubble there of a Lijnders bubble, to be honest with you, and
arrogance, arrogance, and
it's an arrogance, but I think it's a stupidity arrogance. I don't even think he realizes that he's being arrogant at the same time, or if he does, he doesn't care. So for me, I don't care. Look, he's gone from Liverpool. He didn't help much tactically. We pretty much won all the big trophies a few years back under Klopp's and Buvac's kind of tactics. And then when that kind of, when Buvac left and all of that, we did get a little bit complacent in sticking with that constant 4-3-3. And when people did have a low block against us, we just couldn't break them down, or the lads just couldn't find ways of breaking teams down. And that I never liked that about us, unless we were dominating in the game, we weren't in the game. So, yeah.
As Jay said there, one of the famous quotes from Pep, the training ground is our transfer window. Well, you're coming to a club like City that they love to spend money anyway, so yeah. But as Lee said there, how Pep and Pep go together like water and oil, really, not at all mixing, really, certainly. Obviously Ozan, that's nice. Got back from Liverpool last night. It was a crazy week. Ozan, was it were you travelling that long, mate? Anyway, big up there, mate. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Most importantly, as well. For the celebrations, an amazing celebrations as well. It was just very sad the way in which it ended, really, and thankfully everyone is recovering and safe. Most importantly, it's a miracle, really. In honestly, Kev, you were quite close in the vicinity, really, mate, and I'm just thankful you and everyone is come out the end of it really safe, and that's the most important thing, mate. But yeah, how are you in that period?
To be honest with you, Jack, if anybody didn't know, you can go and watch the video on Spider LFC or Spider on TikTok, my TikTok channel. I put a post up about it. It's about a 10-minute video on the whole thing. So I was on Water Street, or just coming onto Water Street when all of that was happening. From, I think it's Covent Garden Lane, that lane, and we had our bags stored in the U Stay Apartments, which was right next door to Hooters, just below it, and we were just. Fergal was ahead of me on the corner. I was there about because a couple of people got in between us, and then as he was walking up to the corner and I was going up behind him, people were just running at us, screaming. After, like, we've seen a kind of an ambulance come down, park, and then move back up, and then we've seen another grey car come down, and then we heard a few people shouting and screaming, and we thought it was like people chanting, and then there was another bunch of lads from us, like about 15 feet behind me again, and then by the time we got there, people were screaming and running. Then I seen a guy coming up the hill running with a baby, and there was blood, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And so we ended up on there. But look, Ferg helped a couple of people that were maced by the cops. By the time we got down there, we saw people beating your man, and then we saw whatever was happening, and then we tried to just get as many people into our apartment door as possible, because we thought, to be honest, we thought it was some sort of an attack. Yeah. So yeah, it could have been anything. So we didn't know what was going on, and look, I did a video on it on my channel, so I won't delve into it too much. But if you want to go and see that, but yeah, I was right there.
Yeah. For everyone, obviously the celebrations are amazing. 1.5 million people that was reportedly in Liverpool. Absolutely staggering, really. The biggest title parade that there's ever been in, especially in England, really. We do things the right way, and it was an amazing day, and most importantly,
unbelievable.
Like, you've seen everyone from every corner of the globe, different nationalities, different languages. Everyone was mixing, and that's the beauty of Liverpool as a city. Very multicultural. We come together. We invite people from every corner of the globe. Everyone's welcome. We get behind them, and as we did on that day, at the end of the parade, I think everyone collectively come together, and obviously shout out to all the supporters that helped, and thankfully everyone's safe, but obviously the emergency services and everyone involved as well, in terms of a very difficult time then. But I think one thing just really does my head in terms of media, really, especially people with bigger profiles as well, in terms of the responsibility that their words have meaning as well. When you've got a big platform like yourself, like people out there, and the face certain thoughts that crop into the head. No, it's sadly, hopefully the world becomes a better place. The UK, and especially, it's just really does me head in. There's that comedian, not even giving him any, that if anyone's being, like, I'm not even going to mention his name or whatnot. He's just the stuff he's been saying on, it's just absolutely crazy. Comedian, like, he's not a comedian. He's an absolute utter horrible human being. He's.
You should just leave him playing Liverpool, Jack, and see how he gets on.
It's sadly, it really angers me. It boils me blood, mate. A person like that has that platform, you're absolutely awful at your job. Most importantly, mate, you're awful. You're not even a comedian anyway. So
it's horrible. I watched a couple of videos.
Yeah, and just obviously the media channels as well that have got big followings as well, and certain thoughts that come into head straight away. It's like, no, there was every person from every culture, every facet of Liverpool. But the great thing was,
I have a video, Jack, of me on the bus, and there must have been about 40 different nationalities singing the Kerkez song on the bus, and it's just me. The camera turned to myself, and I was like, "Oh, wait till you see this." And I turned around, and everybody was just bouncing. The bus was rocking from side to side the whole way down from Anfield. It was amazing. Yeah, so brilliant.
Yeah,
it was. There was not. I couldn't see a single thing I was down by the Crown Plaza all day, and we were in there early. And when they came out, everybody was on traffic lights and poles, but everybody was just like helping each other. Lads that were up there, people were passing each other up beers and having a laugh. People were climbing on. It was brilliant, unbelievably. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've seen the bright positive thing about Liverpool as well, in what was a difficult dark hour or so, but Liverpool, as we always do, and Liverpool fans and everyone in the UK, the good parts of the UK, the large majority of the UK, I think collectively we can all come together in the face of evil and difficult moments as a human race, really. Good will prevail. Will always prevail for me. So, yeah. So don't believe into the narratives or lean into the narratives, sadly. But sadly, like even news organisations as well, like big ones, you've got a responsibility as journalists to just be good and report correctly as well. So yeah, but sadly that doesn't.
I don't think I've ever seen a coming together of so many people to help each other in one area. Like I feel that in Ireland when I'm here all the time, but you don't see that in other countries. So to see, and even when you go to Liverpool, you know, just because Liverpool is in a city or in a country like England, and I know Scousers are completely different from the rest of the English, but how close you guys are to Irish is ridiculous. It's the same type of mentality when somebody's, you know, in trouble or somebody needs a bit of help, or, you know, somebody needs their back, you know, looked after or whatever. It's very, very similar. You don't see that anywhere else in England, and any place I've lived in anyway, to be honest with you. But man, I seen it there the other day, and I think everybody just came along as a collective. Everybody was just, it's like everybody became collective Scouse Irish and just helping each other. It was weird. It was just, yeah, it was nuts. It's not weird. It was really, really cool. But I've never seen so many people jump to so many people's aid and not run in the opposite direction. It was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, everyone out there in the world would do exactly the same, collectively as well. So, and it was just great, as Kev alluded to. There were so many different accents, which is fantastic. Every Liverpool fan travelling down and watching the Reds and just even being in the moment. It was a special day for everyone. And Liverpool reacted in the right way, as we always do, as a city, in against adversity and all that. So, yeah, but main thing is, most important, everyone is safe as well. So thankfully, but Reds, so quickly as well. Yeah, it's an ongoing thing now, as we all know as well. It was sad, as Gary said there. Yeah, thank goodness. Really, there was everyone's. I think it was a couple of people still, but main thing is that everyone is still here, as well. The trains, nobody's. Oh yeah, Lee's saying about the only live 5.7 miles away from the city centre. Always a nightmare getting in. Yeah, Lee, it was chock-a-block-a-la, and obviously there was no signal due to the sheer amount of people in the city of Liverpool or in the northwest, 1.5 million. Don't think I think the phone signals and all that were awful. But yeah, everyone, and that's one, as Kev alluded to there, everyone was offering people lifts and yeah, it's madness. But that's the best thing about Liverpool and Scousers, or just Liverpool fans in general. Everyone helps each other out in the time of need as well. Which was
it took me about 40 minutes, Jack, to walk from Water Street to Jess Hartley Way, just down that way, over the industrial area there. And that's only like a 15-minute walk normally, but it took me about 40 minutes, man. Because I was rattled the whole day. Like when I was there at it, I was in the zone. I was running around. I was like, you kick into adrenaline gear. But then after that, I was walking over the thing. Everything from here to here was just like shaking, man. Like I don't think I've ever had an anxiety like it. But then I just kind of started calming down, and then the usual taxi driver one of the usual guys that pick us up and take us to like airport trips and stuff. He was there and he calmed down, and I got a bottle of water with him and all that, and he got me to Manchester. But yeah, like I can't say enough for the people in Liverpool. Whatever about the cops, like they had to come in and do their job afterwards. It wasn't the cops. It wasn't the cops, by the way, that were pulling people off underneath the cars. It was Scousers. The cops were just standing around, and a majority of them as well didn't know what was going on, so they just started macing people. So that was disgraceful. So whatever about the reaction afterwards, yeah, fair juice. But before that, man, yeah, they would just run around macing random people because they just thought, that they were after doing something wrong. Just
No,
immediately thought there was,
they were doing the
So
job, mate. They were doing the job.
no, I get that, but like people were saying this dude is like they seen the dude driving down, but I suppose he was getting a hiding. But you drag him off, you don't mace him. That's the
Yeah,
that's
but
that's
as I
the
said,
whole thing. Yeah.
it happened very quickly. So it's yeah. So chat, give on get any comments in as well. So we'll move on. Obviously, Frimpong, Kev, and chat. Very as Niall said there. The parade was incredible, and let's remember that as well. Most importantly, and obviously, thankfully, the people were safe as well. But yeah, 1.5 million descended on Merseyside, and yeah, let's go again. There'll certainly be a parade next season. I think we're all quite confident about that. We'll be winning trophies. Couldn't get more YouTube buddies after signal. Yeah, wouldn't even. Yeah, Lee. There was no signal at all. Kev, Frimpong announced today. Not too bad of a signing, is he? The fact that we've got him in before, obviously, the start of play, really, in the transfer window. Anyone's not aware. 1st of June to the 10th of June. How good of a right back have we brought in, mate, from your point of view?
I don't know. My accent will be terrible now because I'm not going to do Scouse, but I'll probably do a bit of what's his man's name? Mick McCarthy, is it? Bayek, is it? That one. Bayek, is it? He is bloody rapid. That's the only way I can think of him as Mick McCarthy signing him. He's bloody rapid. No, he's fast, dude. Like, he is fast. So, like, you're talking the left back for Bayern. That's a race right there that you could, you would know who would win. Yeah. Davis, yeah. So yeah, you're talking like rapid, and I think he's going to do a lot more for us. As you'll see in the formations that I set out while ago, I have a few ideas on how Slot is actually going to change it, but
yeah, we'll go into that.
But yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, there you go. I think the easiest one to pick is the 4-2-3-1 because we're kind of like that at the moment. But if you're trying to get the best out of Wirtz, then what do? Do you keep it that open in midfield, or do you tighten it up a small bit and just let him be him? Up front. So yeah, so kind of go with the this is only like if Ekitike signs. Even if he doesn't sign, you swap out Ekitike with Gakpo or whatever like that, and you got yourself a team,
So you start from left to right. Yeah.
Start from left to right, yeah. So the 4-2-3-1 is fairly obvious, If you wanted to keep, because I'm thinking that the Frimpong, as much as we buy him as a right back, I think he can be used primarily on that side, instead of like if we don't sign a striker instead of Salah. I think Salah could be tucked in a bit more, and I just think because of Salah's getting to his age, that you don't want him to work that heavy, and maybe like he will start out in the wing and then work his way in, allowing Frimpong to run on the outside of him. That's what I think the goal is in this. I think that's where Salah will end up. When it comes to us, like in an attack mode, I think Wirtz will have a free role behind him, and there'll be Gakpo will be running on the outside of him as well. So it allows Bradley to be a defender, but also to kind of get up and help Frimpong when he can. And
so you got and I reckon
I've Salah tucked in.
Yeah,
I got him tucked in a little bit.
I reckon he will play more of a centre role for Liverpool, mate, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I'm the same, yeah.
He's getting not on in his old age, but he's losing.
Yes.
I think he was already on record this season speaking about Slot in an interview, I think it was for Sky, and he said obviously the bit more of his own defensive duties, he doesn't do it as much. So when he is active, he's a lot more proactive, really, in the most vital points. And I think that's what we've seen this season. When Salah's got the ball, he's become a lot more clinical in the big moments. First couple of touches, bang, out of his feet. And it's interesting, mate. If he is to play, he could do it. I think the first year we've seen Slot, not Slot, Salah, played a lot more or less of a centre forward role, really. Extremely close to Bobby Firmino, who's dropping in quite deep there, Bobby. So it's options.
I just think he didn't have enough take-ons for me this season, or successful take-ons. You know, there was a lot of dancing going on, and then, you know, he's learned to do this thing where he's assisting from these positions now, rather than taking them on and actually running to the byline and getting in. So for me, if you take that need for him to do that out of the game, and you put somebody like Frimpong out there who will just run past anybody for pace wise, and you just tuck Salah inside where he can just like turn and strike, you know, Salah will start out wide, but he'll move into that position, and I think that, you know, I think Wirtz will play more of a slightly left hand side of centre, number 10 role, and Salah will play like a false 9 drifting out to a winger role. And I think, you know, this is the most obvious for me. Gakpo can do that role out on the left hand side. You know, when people tire, you always have Curtis Jones to come on. This is all. I didn't put Diaz into anything because there's a lot of talk about Diaz leaving. I don't think Slot. He rates him as a good player, but I don't think he rates him as doing enough GA wise. You know. So
he had a very good season this year, didn't he, mate? But
he did, yeah, he did. But he had a great start and a great end, but he didn't have a good middle. So that's the only problem, you know.
If it's 70-80 million big comes in for him, and so that if Diaz wants to sign a new deal, slots in, like, lad, I think you might be going, lad. Richard and Edwards and the lads, especially if the Saudis come knocking for you as well. But yeah, it's interesting there, mate. As you said, you've showed fair bit of variation to Liverpool's game.
I did one as well with Frimpong as a right back, and I'm just saying, you know, that's your basic 4-1-3-2. So, and that's if Ekitike comes in and you have a striker there, you know. So the 4-3-2-1 is more of like what we'd look like, mainly even with Ekitike in there as a defensive unit. So that's the kind of, you'll be looking at that to spread in, like that 4-3-2-1 can turn into that 4-2-3-1 very easily on attack. So it's the only one that's kind of more different than that would be the 4-1-3-2. So because you got these guys kind of sitting up there, and then, you know, obviously McAllister, Gakpo can drop back, you know, Frimpong can tuck in, but then you don't have the extra cover from Bradley there. So I just think as the formations go on, that 4-2-3-1 look in that way, that style looks like the best formation to do, to get the best out of Wirtz and Salah and Frimpong, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there will be a lot of rotation, mate. It's an interesting point, mate. I think there's a lot of variation. I think the more variation we have in the next couple of seasons, more chance Liverpool have got of winning games of football, mate. As we've seen in the Paris Saint-Germain game as well, chat. Liverpool were very limited in terms of what we were doing with the ball. I think we really struggled to grab hold of a lot more possession in terms of controlling the game as well. So I think obviously predominantly a Slot's used a 4-2-3-1 system, as obviously Kev alluded to in there. Obviously Kerkez potentially coming in. But I do anticipate Gravenberch, as I said tonight on Anfield Indexes, we will see. I do feel Gravenberch will become out in possession if we're in an attacking phase. I do feel Gravenberch will become a centre half, because that's what he's done coming into that centre back position, as did Fabinho.
Oh yeah, he'll become part of that tree. Yeah,
when the two centre backs split, obviously Gravenberch comes into that centre position. But I do think Gravenberch will go out more to the right, because you can't be playing Gravenberch as the centre half. But obviously will be Ibu, Van Dijk, and then Gravenberch either side of either of those two lads as well. But pace,
because if that does happen, you're going to go that way, then you're looking at maybe Conor Bradley seeing less game time, because Frimpong and Kerkez are going to be barreling forward and tucking inside. So then you maybe do see Gravenberch kind of tucking back in front of the lads there. But yeah, that's going to happen anyway. So it's just a matter of, you know, allowing Gravenberch to sit a bit further forward if Bradley sits there, because Bradley can become that right centre back really if need be, and help Frimpong. Yeah. So
he's a perfect player to have though, Buds. And just I think even if you are 2-0 up in the game, 20 minutes to go, we've already seen this season Slot he's not one to sit in his hands and wait. He wants to be proactive. He wants to see out a game. The amount of times he brought on Endo. Obviously Bradley's got a lot more of his defensive side of his game. So I think it's having both variations of a fullback, and I think that will be the case in the left back position as well. If Robbo becomes a lot more defensive minded, and you just allow Kerkez that ability to go forward. But what Kerkez and Robinson and Frimpong do have, Kev, is that electric pace out of possession and in possession as well, so just track back and recover and cover the space quite quickly.
Yeah, it is, and you know, it's a good show for that. But like I'm looking at Frimpong, and I'm saying, like, well, how do you get the best out of Frimpong? And I've been saying for years that Trent should be slightly moved forward. He should have taken over from Henderson in Henderson's role. Is where Trent should have gone, and Bradley should, you know, once we found out Bradley was as good as he was, Bradley could have come in there, and because of Trent's experience as a defender, he could have really helped back up Bradley, and then you would have seen a lot less stuff happening going down that our right hand side. And I think Frimpong is ideal for that. So if you put Frimpong ahead of Bradley on that side, you've got two guys that already have defensive experience, and then also two guys that can interchange going forward. One that can, you know, if one's ahead of the other by the time we get there, you know, we'd have one of them would become an inverted fullback, you know, so easily, and help out Gravenberch in the middle of the park. There's so much variation that can happen. It's just wherever their starting point is. So it'll be fun to see what happens in pre-seasons. You know, if we do see a Bradley and a Frimpong starting at the same time, you know, would I be close to being kind of right? But if not, you know, he could stick with his alternative 4-3-3s and his alternative 4-2-3-1s by sticking Frimpong right back, keeping Salah out on the right and all of that. I just don't, because you just see it in the end of the season. Salah's been phenomenal most of the season, but
he just run out of energy.
He was getting more limited as he had to take on more players on that right hand side, and I just believe he should be just tucked in, and he just not even only look at the wing when he needs to link up and then get directly back in, you know, straight away, just to allow Frimpong that space on that side to get up outside him, or even Bradley on that side to get up outside him, and just, you know, tuck in and look for those curlers to the top corner all the time and the link up play. So yeah,
it's exciting times, Reds. There's going to be a massive sale, Liverpool. I think the main thing and the most positive thing about obviously getting Frimpong in straight away, obviously I think the Nations Leagues, Germany they're playing in the final, I think it is, or semis, whatever it is, next week or so. So, or is it, Leverkusen not in there. What am I chatting? Obviously I think it was for the international stage as well. So that's, everyone's going, oh, why is it not signed yet? But as we said already, with the VT today, everyone was going, oh, that's been pre-recorded. That's what the most media stuff companies do. They pre-record it months in advance. They don't just sat there the day before. They go, yeah, boys, let me get an interview with you. It's all pre-planned and everything, really. So, yeah. You never know. Wirtz might have snuck into the AXA and recorded his when he come over with his man and dad. He wasn't just house shopping, but you never know. No, and
I just wouldn't be surprised, Jack, if like, because I mean for Bayer Leverkusen obviously should get like the most out of the deal for Wirtz. You know, Liverpool are going to see years of hopefully of winning things, and you know, and good success with a person like Wirtz, or I'm probably pronouncing it. I think he goes by Wirtz, is how it's pronounced, but we'll just say Wirtz anyway, because you know we read it as we see it.
I'm not gonna.
Is it quiet? Is it coat? You know, that kind of way. So, but
Florian.
In saying that, yeah, that's what we call him. And but in saying that, Leverkusen should get the best out of the deal, and maybe somebody like a Harvey Elliott should be included in the deal, because I think he deserves, you know, the best out of a player. You see how emotionally he was. I think he do phenomenally well in the Bundesliga, and I think he could take over from Wirtz. Not, you know, he's not as quick, you know, but I just think because the Bundesliga is a bit slower, I think that he can really shine there, and you could really like develop him as a number 10, get a good 17.5% selling on clause for him, and yeah, definitely. So I would 100%, you know, include him in that kind of deal, as well as, you know, I don't know if Queevy and Keller is going to go to Brentford or not, or
Leverkusen. I think Leverkusen are in the market for a centre half, a goalkeeper, and an attacking midfielder if they are to lose weight. So. So Kwanzaa, Elliott included in the deal, and I think Leverkusen wants some money back, mate. So we're not.
I do that. They're going to get the money back. They are really. They're 100%. I mean, the whole deal was going to be money up front anyway. Yeah. So it was just going to be one. You know, I think the only difference is that they agreed to the Frimpong deal being over 3 seasons or something. So that's only like, what's that, 10 million a season to play for, for Frimpong in that kind of way. So yeah.
It's the main thing is, and Leverkusen fans are already happy they're not selling to a direct rival. I'd love that to happen for the next 20 odd years. Just Bundesliga sides, don't be getting bullied by Bayern Munich, please. You might actually start winning trophies in that division. I think Leroy Sané hasn't even agreed his deal. I think he's leaving. There was reports of him signing a new deal. So, yeah, hopefully they reinvest all that money. But you're looking at a team like Bayer Leverkusen, historically not one of those big clubs. It used to be obviously in the early 2000s as well. The likes him, Michael Ballack and Lizarazu and all that. So, Lizarazu played for Bayern. Yeah, he played for Bayern, or someone in that league anyway. Very talented French left back anyway. So, yeah, it's one of them chats. Keep an eye on that really. So, Frimpong, yes la. As he says, and he's already got the Scouse accent down to a T.
Yeah,
A couple of comments as well. As Danny said, I think Wirtz is going to play striker or as a false nine because I don't see Slot dropping Dom. Loves him, the energy he brings, then leading the press as well. Even Kerkez Jones as well. There's the main thing is we got so much variation as we said already. Like, I
think they can become more utility. I don't think Dan is as consistent enough. He's been very, very good and he's a hard worker. But I don't think he's been as consistent enough for Slot. So if he doesn't get that up and running, like Slot will still play him at the start. And then after that, you'll just see maybe, phasing in and out. But we need rotation. We need competition for every spot.
Yeah, sorry there, Kevin. And Chester, it wasn't making faces as it used. Chester, I think we've just found Jamie Vardy's burning account. Better sign Jamie Vardy. No, thank you, La. You're all good. Enjoy your Jaeger bombs and your certainly no. He's going to be going. You know exactly where Jamie Vardy's going. Wrexham. Yeah, straight away. I think is it Wrexham are offering 50 grand to every single player in that division, which is fair enough because their commercial team's absolutely buzzing. It's not too bad.
They still need more investment, I've heard.
More.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because the club is only worth 150 million. Now they got it up to, so just to kind of get them up that next step, I think they needed a slight bit more investment. Yeah,
that's mad, absolutely mad. But yeah, crazy. So it's there we sound. Just Ryan Reynolds. There was a couple more Hollywood movies, a couple of Deadpool movies. Anyway, it'd be sound. All good. Still big up there, Nom. Still striker Alvarez. Kev, I think that's a question.
Stiller's going to Real Madrid, isn't he?
I think so. Xabi Alonso loves him, doesn't he?
Yeah, I heard something about that, about him going to Real Madrid. I'd love Alvarez. I'd take Alvarez or Gyökeres, I think. Especially now that Arsenal have chosen Sesko, Gyökeres will be desperate to get out of Lisbon now. So, if Liverpool think that there's a viable option there, they could go for him. I think he's fairly similar to what Jimenez was at Bayer Leverkusen, at Feyenoord for Slot. So I think there's a potential there to do similar at Liverpool. But I don't think Gyökeres is our first choice, but I think Gyökeres, whatever you want to pronounce it. But I think that if the money was right, then maybe
Nunes is definitely going. So yeah,
on Nunes, yeah. So I think once the Nunes sale comes in, I think we're going to be all out for kind of a striker, really. I think, yeah.
Hopefully we sign those players before we sell the players, because clubs don't go, how much have you just got for Luis Diaz and Nunes? 150 million off the Saudis, lads. What are you chatting? So, yeah, it's any Saudi...
See, I seen the Arsenal fans again today, Jack, don't know, said, I thought Liverpool wasn't this kind of like legacy club that spends money and all of that. No, because when you look at the people we're about to sell, the money's came for itself.
Million, easy. 150 million.
I only called out like 5 players and that brought us up to like 170 million. Yeah. And I was just kind of going, like, lads, use your head, like. So, yeah. My camera's not freezing.
Oh, turns into the Incredible Hulk there, lad.
I did. Give me a second.
Big up there, Miss Molina. And obviously Arsenal need to buy a striker. Hope you're well, mate. And he's all well. Pick up there Ozan against Palace. Rosario became a centre back as well as when he was subbed on. Yeah, he's the James Milner of the team. I know a lot of people have said obviously Wataru might leave. But I think he'll be staying around anyway. I know he had a couple of comments over the last couple of months saying he wants to. Obviously, he's not happy with the first team, but I think, yeah, the good luck charm anyway. Liverpool won the league when we had obviously Takemo Minamino and obviously Wataru. You're back in the room. All good, lad.
I'm back.
So there we go. Gakpo, as Danny said there, I have a feeling Slot prefers Gakpo on the left rather than Diaz, and a bit of Wirtz to playing down the middle, or front three and feeling Slot. Yeah, Danny, it's the main thing, chat, as we've said already. Variation is key next season. The ability to be 100%. Flexible in different formations, different tactics. There will be certain games, like we've said already tonight, where Conor Bradley might be needed. If you're defending a 2-goal lead with 20 minutes to go, bringing on Endo, or even playing with Gravenberch in the 6 and then playing Wirtz and Dominic Szoboszlai. Because if anyone's seen Wirtz, he's an absolute workhorse in terms of what he does off the ball as well. That's why his profile is quite similar to Bobby Firmino at the same age in the Bundesliga. Back-to-back Bundesliga. We'll go back onto the next slide as well, chat. So, speaking about him, back-to-back Bundesliga. Players of the season, Kev. Not too bad, la. He's going to be an absolute phenomenal in this team, mate. Like the thought of him playing alongside, if he is in certain variations, different formations as well, alongside Dominic Szoboszlai, and then if you do get a more recognised out-and-out number 9, someone that can actually stay fit and bang 20, 30 odd goals. No, it's not as easy as just saying getting 20, 30 goal striker, because they're very hard to find, really, in European football. But yeah, what a player, man.
They're there. It's not that hard to find, Jack. They are there. It's just that they don't have the supply that a team like Liverpool can give them, or a team of the higher end can create, So there's a lot of there's a lot of teams that are there that can create these scenarios for striker. Like, look at the amount of chances that we made for Nunez in a Liverpool shirt, and I mean, I know he prefers getting the ball a bit earlier, but he's had chance after chance and didn't put them away. So if another striker gets the same chances and they're just a bit better clinically, then they're putting them in goals. They're putting at least 40% of those chances extra away. So that's the only way you could look at it. So
in playing behind the striker, chat is gonna be no one's seen this lad just go. Get it over the line, Liverpool. Do whatever it takes. Pay whatever it takes. It's just the fact that we are moving as a massive football club now. We've just won the league. We're going to go back-to-back in the Premier League. I know everyone goes, you're being too confident. No. All of us, every Liverpool fan, has watched this Liverpool side. We're not blind in terms of, we're watching a Liverpool team thrive really good there. You right there, Kev? Have you fell off your seat?
Nah, just getting some ice. I'm enjoying it. I'm on the Wirtz train, lads. I'm on the Wirtz train.
There we go.
So, no, look, Jack, he's a phenomenal player. He's the best attacking midfielder in the world right now. Number 10, whatever you want to call him. He can play all of these positions. He's been linked to Napoli on loan. If he goes to Napoli on loan, that's, we have him for 2 seasons. Bring him back. He's got 2 more years in his contract. Let him go on loan for 6 months. Maybe build up his fitness. Bring him back if we need him. Then by his final year of his contract, Napoli might want to buy him. It's a good deal to do right now, because if Kerkez is not going to make it as a Liverpool player, send him to a team on loan with an obligation to buy at the end of it, as long as he plays a certain amount of games. And that way you get money from a year before his contract ends, rather than just leaving him go on a free. And if we make anything above the £13 million we paid for him, which I think we can make 3 times the amount of that minimum, then you're laughing all the way to the bank. So yeah, I definitely would.
Yeah, not too bad, chat. Not too bad indeed. And big up there. Hamza at number 11. Yes, it is midnight, lads. It's all good.
It is.
Yeah, Kerkez and Wirtz. Not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
Breakfast time back home.
Yeah, it's morning somewhere in the world anyway. As we know, it is.
That's a famous advert here in Ireland, where some fella's living in the States or something like that, or he's living in Australia or something, and the man starts frying, and it's about 10 o'clock at night or something like that, and then the man's like, "What are you doing? You're making sausages and eggs." What I've he says, it's breakfast time back home. So it's a great advert.
Yeah. Ozan, anyone's new to the channel, yeah, there you go. You know me, just don't get me naming any Brighton players, by the way. It's all good. Absolute nightmare. Need to watch the Premier League videos anyway that they do in terms of proper pronunciations. Turn into full Paul Mason mode anyway. There we go. Chiesa is staying. Yeah, I think he'll stay, mate. There's too much to do for Liverpool, really. Yeah. In regards to the window, I think he will stay. And as Slot's already been on record a couple of weeks ago anyway, saying if he's the main thing is if he gets back up to full fitness, I think we will see a bit more game time for Chiesa.
He's a £130 million player, Jack, 2.5 seasons ago, until he got the same injury as Virg. So I don't see why he can't improve over a season. He played like maybe about 38 games in Serie A last season, but they weren't, or the season before that, and you know, and he was doing really good things. It's just that, you know, he's lost a bit of pace, but they're still saying he's developing that muscle back around that knee, and he'll just keep picking up, and he's at an age where it still can develop. And I think that's the reason why Liverpool took the risk of 13 million on him. And I think it's an absolute steal, because no matter what, you're making money on him regardless. So if you get back to 80% of the player that Chiesa was, then you're still selling a £60 million player. You know what I mean? So yeah, easily. So yeah.
So he's a good player in there, chat. Just about getting the best out of him. But yeah, as Miss Lijnders said there, do you think? Yeah, I think what baffles me is the amount of Chelsea fans already out there that are going, "Oh, why are we going for Delap?" Well, mainly because these aren't the Chelsea of the early 2000s with Mourinho, like 2005, 2006 as well. Chelsea can't attract top elite level strikers. I, for one, and majority of European football fans out there are saying that Osimhen, personally, I felt was a bang on, nailed on signing for Chelsea. Obviously, John.
He's that type of player. He's a Chelsea player. He's a Chelsea type player.
Yeah, I think he's been on record saying he's a Chelsea fan as well, or whatever. Obviously, John Obi Mikel, the Nigerian footballer that had played for Chelsea for many of a year, very underrated. John Obi Mikel. But yeah, he's but yeah, Melina, I don't think they'll go to either of them. Melina, he's going to be going to Saudi. Diaz, I think, will go to Saudi. I think
he's not going to United, because Liverpool won't deal with United.
Yeah,
you know, the last even close dealing that was ever happened with Liverpool United was Heinze to Real Madrid, just so we could buy him straight away off Real Madrid to do a deal with them. And then the only other one before that was, you know, getting Paul Ince after he went to Inter Milan, really. You know, and he came to Liverpool after that.
Yeah, not too bad. Big up there, Ants. All right, lads.
Michael Owen.
Hope you're good. Frimpong already making a show. So cool. The play for yeah, and there we go, mate. Yeah, not too bad. He's there.
So we all clapped him, Jack, inside the stadium the other day. You know, just to say, look, we'll hold our heads up, because the simple fact is he's going. There's nothing we can do about it. But we're not going to give the ego the satisfaction to be able to do that. So everybody was chatting about it beforehand and stuff, like in the pubs and whatnot, and like a few people were going to boo, and they were still like saying, clap, and they were all just under their breath going, "You're rat," you know. And that's, you know, because Scousers are better than that. We have moved on, and I think we have two better right backs that are there at the moment. The only thing that Trent is a right foot. That's it. I'll be honest with you. That's it.
Yeah. So. Big up there, Jav. Nice one, laugh. He comments. Dave saying, boys, you are up late. Yous are all up late. Yous are watching the stream, la. It's all good. Get to bed. We'll be concluding in a little second as well, chat. Anyway, in another 10 minutes. It was only a little bit busy today. Anyway.
So we say it. We always say 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're over here an hour later going,
yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah, but nice one. Thank you everyone for tuning in this evening. If you haven't already done so on YouTube, do drop a like on the video as well. Massive does help out in terms of the algorithm and all that good stuff. So plenty of shows to come as well. But Reds, yeah. Wirtz deal done on Sunday. Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. It's only, well, as Ozan said, it's only 2 minutes past 5 where I am, Spider. So there you go, Ozan.
There you go.
Big up there, Mazzy. Changing the game for would be. It's Jack. It's big up there, Mazzy. Big up there, Bud. Jack, what time to be a Liverpool fan? We're making 110 million sign soon. Wirtz is a game-changing sign with the LFC. It will go next level as well. Certainly will.
And I'll be honest with you, like, because even though Liverpool are spending that kind of money now, Jack, it's not that we haven't spent it in the past or whatever. We did it when we needed to, when there was a refresh needed. You know, when we needed a goalkeeper, we went and we spent the 65 million on Alisson. You know, we needed Fabinho in there for that 50 million. We needed Van Dijk in there for the 75 million. And we went and spent it over those couple of windows. Liverpool are just doing it kind of a lot more in one window than they expected. I expected it over a couple of windows, just like previous. But I wouldn't say I'd expect these kind of signings every single season. I would say expect us to do a massive rebuild where we need to, and then we're going to be topping them up. We're going to, like we are kind of 35 mil FC, if you want to call it that way, and that's what we're going to be topping up the squad with that kind of talent going forward for the next couple of seasons. It's only once every 4 to 5 years we're going to spend this kind of massive money because, you know, we have to stay within financial fair play, and we also sell to buy in that kind of way, and that's not going to change because that works for the club. It works for, and we're a very, very well run club, regardless of what people think of FSG or whatever. It's a very, very well run club, and we sell to buy, so, and it balances off. And if we do go into debt, it's healthy debt where we can stay in the black. It's all good. But either way, I'm delighted with the window so far. I predicted it was going to be a massive window this time. I've said it like numerous times, and people were saying, no, we don't spend that kind of money, but I did predict it this time.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad indeed at all, mate. But it's, as I said, I think we've covered more or less everything. I think we have. But yeah.
Kerkez.
Kerkez. Well, did I make the slides? No,
yeah. No, we didn't make a slide of it, but like he's on the way.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
You know, even Ekatike. You know, did you know that Ekatike spelled backwards is Ekatike?
There we go.
Yeah, but yeah. It's
I think he's going to be the next one in any after Wirtz.
Yeah. I'm surprised if they came at the same time because that deal has been going on for quite a while. I just think they're trying to. I think Bournemouth are just harder to deal with because I think there's a bit of a badness with Bournemouth. Yeah, a bit of animosity with the sales going one way and another way recently. But I think we have to patch that up because I think Kerkez is going to officially want to leave anyway. So Liverpool they're going to try and get the best they can for Kerkez. I'd say maybe 45 million that we might have to pay for him.
I do feel that's still quite a fair chunk of money anyway, but I think Liverpool is going to have to bite the bullet really in regards to that. Just bring them in, get it boxed off really, and then hope to
get 25 million for Tsimikas, who's still a young player. He could still go and play elsewhere. You know, I think Tsimikas with his experience in Liverpool will be a steal for any club that can play Champions League football really. So yeah. There you go.
So in terms of Kerkez as well, Jack coming in, I think, as Kev said, it will be a lot of money, but we'd love if Kerkez was a £8-9 million signing like Andy Dobbo was as well. But it's going to be one of them really. Chat in coming in, I think it'll be a phenomenal signing. Obviously, he has played for AZ Alkmaar. I think he played for Slot. I'm not 100% sure.
Slot, yeah, he was at Alkmaar, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So in his early career, he's played so many minutes really in regards to his development as a player. And you look and analyse and the amount of hours, season in, season out, over 2,000 minutes per season. So he's had a good season anyway. But will be a very shrewd signing for Liverpool if he was to come in. Chat, what are we saying on that? As Anne said, anybody think Robbo? Yes. Kev?
So, you know, he was talking at some of the stuff at the final whistle after the game made me think that he was. But then like only a week or two before that he was saying, I hope the Liverpool fans come out next season when it's my last season and ask for my contract to be extended, you know, as well as that. I'd keep Robbo all day. I'd sell Tsimikas and I'd keep Robbo all day regardless of him playing as a starter or playing as a backup or rotating with Kerkez. He's the ideal guy to keep there, and maybe resting him a bit more will give him more longevity as part of the team. But no, I would keep Robbo 100% over because I think he deserves it, you know, what he's done for the club. and I would keep him
I think
definitely
Robbo,
over Simicast.
Yeah. What would you do, Answer Chat? What would you do? I think if Liverpool were to sign Robbo, it would be massively on reduced wages. He's not going to be getting the contract that he'll be on. I think Liverpool famously a couple of seasons back, it was with James Milner. We signed him on a contract extension, but it was under the guidance of him having a lot less in terms of the wage package as well. So I think he
didn't care.
Yeah, I think Robbo will just be happy and content with being.
Yeah,
he'll be wanting to get into the starting 11, but I think he personally would say just get in there.
Still young Jack. I just think he's been worn out over the last few years, and I think maybe having somebody with competition to come in and to back him up back and forth is the best thing that can happen to him. It'll just refresh him, So.
There we go. So and wrong wing lad. It's going to be... Oh, yeah, sorry, miss. Yeah, it will be Rafinha running a Trent. Obviously, Yamal plays on the opposite wing, but it'll be mainly Rafinha. But I tell you, we know the La Liga fans, especially Real Madrid fans, when they get the handkerchiefs out, and they're very, very harsh, to say the least. But Mazzy as well. Boys, do you think he was the top striker and can Wirtz and Salah carry the team? It'll be... Yeah...
It all depends on whether Jota stays, Jack. If Núñez goes and Jota stays, then we probably don't need an out-and-out striker, because Wirtz and Salah can both do that job if they're playing more central. That's if Frimpong is going to be playing on the right. If Frimpong's not going to be playing the right, he's going to be playing on the right back, and you're not going to see much of Conor Bradley, and Salah's going to be out the right. Then we need a striker. I think because maybe Diaz will go, so we're going to need somebody else to come in for a bit of competition there. I'd like to see Jadon Dan start getting some competition time, at least in the cups, a lot more, starting in the cups and give him that experience, or send him out to a top club, like at least a good championship side or a lower level Premier League side, and get him kind of up to speed really, because he's got bags of confidence. And I'd like to see that happening, because he's out and out Scouse, so you like to see more Scousers in the team rather than having to go out and buy him, especially if they can score goals. And he's never disappointed when he's played, no matter what, no matter how young he is. He's never disappointed. So I would 100% push at least 30% of the future into him. So yeah.
As Anne said, maybe one day, mate. I think he'll be captain in the future. Obviously, boyhood Celtic fan, isn't he? So it's one of them as well. Ederson, Jav. Yeah, I'm a massive admirer of Ederson, as are quite a fair people. I think he's had a fantastic season this year. Top player. I think in the system, I think he'd really thrive. Team he would do really well. I know United are awful, but I think that's the type of calibre of player United do miss in that midfield. Ability to progress with the ball, carry the ball, very much break up play as well. But yeah,
I think we're okay in the number 6 role now, Jack. Unless we're going to go really, really big and replace Gravenberch, and then Endo's going to leave. But I think Endo's been phenomenal when he's come on this season.
Yeah.
And I think Gravenberch has just done the job. It's only when he got tired that Endo came on, and then just sealed up everything. And I think Endo is really, really happy in his role of being a bit power player. But he just says, if I had my choice, I would stay at Liverpool regardless of the game time. And you want that kind of mentality around within the squad as well. And dude's he's a fantastic workhorse and a trainer. So yeah,
not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, just as was it there, and yeah, we would have been probably in Championship anyway. If we kept on having Roy Hodgson football anyway, but yeah, he's one of a kind, Stevie. What a player! He'd be worth 150, 200 billion in his prime anyway. As Neil said there, at Team Mechanics, yeah.
But that's what I say, Jack. You got people ask you like, "Oh, who's the greatest Liverpool player of all time?" But then I was thinking about it. I was saying, Salah's up there with them and all. But you're kind of going modern to but there's different generations of the best Liverpool player of all time. So you go back to like the early 70s or whatever like that, and you're talking about Keegan was phenomenal with Toshek up front and all of that. And then you go into the 80s and all of that, and Dalglish was there, like ridiculously good, for Liverpool late 70s throughout the 80s. for Liverpool. And then you go and you're talking about like late 90s and early 2000s. And then there's Steven Gerrard was the best player. And you can put, so like for me, I think just like Kenny, Gerrard and Salah are probably on that top S tier, if you want to call it, of Liverpool players. And then all the other greats are kind of just below them, like your John Barneses and your, and what you call it, just because of the impact that those three had on the football club. And yeah, and as good as John Barnes was, he was just John Barnes. It's like talking about Paul Scholes versus Steven Gerrard. It's just John Barnes played in a really, really phenomenal Liverpool side. And it's kind of hard to kind of compare somebody who played in that kind of side and one that was kind of developed along with that. It's very similar. You could squeeze John Barnes up there as well to that level, but for me, yeah, it's just those three guys, and then Rush and Barnes and all that underneath it. So yeah,
and we're not like City, whose legends have only turned up in the last 10 years. We've gone a long way back anyway. But chat, it was obviously only an hour show anyway. Massive thank you for Kev for joining me. Where can everyone find you, please, bud?
Yeah, you'll find me pretty much all over most social media places. You'll find me at Spider_LFC on Twitter. You'll find me at Spider LFC on TikTok. You'll find me at Spider or Irish Spider Guy on Twitch and YouTube. And that's for the gaming side of things. And then for the football side of things, just type in Spider LFC and you'll find me in most places. So yeah.
There we go, chat. So please do head over, subscribe, get involved with Kev as well. But yeah, chat, it's been an absolute pleasure.
And Neil is dead right, by the way.
Yeah.
Billy Little was the first Liverpool icon. If you're going back that far, yeah, you are.
Liverpool, anyway.
Yeah. He's right.
We're thankful we've had that many legends, even Cali as well. The fact that Callahan made that many amount of appearances as well. Ridiculous.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. So, Reds, look after yourself. Massive thank you for everyone tuning in. If you are watching this on Saturday, have a lovely rest of your weekend as well. And yeah, look after yourself, everyone. And let's hope Liverpool continue to just sign in, bring in more high caliber, top world class potential talent as well. So look after yourself, everyone. And yeah, we'll see you very soon again. To that.